Hello guys, welcome back. This video will be talking about functions. So, first of all, what is a function and why do we need functions? To give it a non-code example, imagine someone that gets inside a car, no, and that you want to represent it in a code written in a written language. First of all, he opens the door, okay, then he get on the car, then he get on the car, he insert the key, and last he switch on the engine. Okay, so let's say that you want to represent this function 10 times. Then you should copy and paste this 10 times, no? That's too much line of codes altogether. So we create a function, we call it function, open drive, function drive, and the function drive we put all this logic, and then we use the function drive. So in itself, I already said everything about creating and calling, but let's really see a code, how to create a function. Okay, you need to use the keyword function, and then you give it a name, function print. Okay, you open the curly braces, and then you echo, you do whatever you want inside the statement. Okay, this is wrong because print is a keyword, I forgot, so I write stampa, which means print in Italian. Then if you want to execute the function, we have created the function. If you want to execute it, to invoke it, you just need to write stampa. Boom. Now we can come here, and as you see, the result is I'm printing. Then we can create even anonymous functions, which is the same, but now I'm going to create a variable named stampa, and then the function, you can save it into a variable, and the function doesn't need to have a name. So echo I'm printing, you can see the difference. Okay, okay, echo I'm printing, stampa function, and then here stampa written like this with the semicolon maybe. Okay, and it's the same, I'm printing. This anonymous function opens actually is a more complicated topic, because we are creating an object of class closures. Actually, it's not called anonymous function because it's called closures. Probably in the late part of the course I will talk about it, or maybe not even, because you don't really use it or need to know it at a basic level, but it opens some big conversations that are not really useful. But this is a closure, is for class closure. Here is written, no? Closure class, blah blah blah. Okay, invoke a function, create a function, invoke a function, scope of the functions. Let's take back our standard function and maybe let's create a variable. Number equal to 5. Function stampa echo $number. Very simple. What you expect to that is done is obvious, but as you can see here, there is a red line under number. Let's see the result on the screen. Undefined variable number. So what's happening here? It's happening that inside a function, even though we have taught that this is the global scope and this is the local scope, is a local scope, and in many other programming languages, what is in the global scope is available everywhere. Not in PHP. In PHP, what is inside a function? Inside a function, the scope look only inside itself. It does never look at inside the global scope. So in this case, we are using a variable that doesn't exist. If we come here and we write $number, it doesn't throw an error because we are not we are defining two different variables with the same name on a different scope. And then if you come here and for example I echo $number, save, and as you see is 14.5, not 145, 14.5, because the first one is using this variable inside its scope and is echoing this variable, and the second one is echoing the variable in the global scope. We even showed that if you want to make use or to modify a variable from a local scope, from a variable of the global scope inside a local scope, there is the possibility to use dollar globals. Not new, but maybe you forget. Dollar globals number equal to 14, and now I echo globals number equal to 14. Now let's see what happens on the screen now with these two statements. Now is echoing 14.14. So here I modified this variable. Okay, if I take this, place it before, what happens is that it takes the previous element and use it, the previous value, and use it. Other two possibilities to work with values of the function, with the function inside out, are parameters and return. First of all, let's change this function into another one that suits more the situation. Let's call it sum. We make a sum, and sum needs two arguments. These are really called arguments. They are not. Is not that I'm inventing a word. It's really is their name, and these arguments they make an addition. Okay, so $sum equal to arguments1 and arguments2, and then echo $sum. Now, as you can see here, uh, it gives us an error inside the function. The point is that now the function expects 2 arguments and found 0. This is what it says even the Visual Studio Code. So we can give it 2 any kind of arguments. Now we can give it a number. That was the goal, no? We wanted our sum to be using an external value. So now we gave it number 10. Let's remove this. And as you can expect, it gives us 15. So this is the first way we can work with external parameter on entrance with a function. We can define a parameters, and then we define 2 arguments, and then with the arguments we can do whatever we want. Another tips to say about arguments: don't specify too many arguments, because arguments needs maintenance. If you specify 3 arguments, then this will be it will throw an error, blah blah blah. So as least as you can, keep the number of arguments at minimum. Um, you can give arguments a type. As I told, maybe not, but I think so. There are programming languages like Java, like TypeScript, like I don't know, Python, that use this kind of syntax. You really have to specify the type of any kind of variable you declare, so that you don't make mistakes further. This is not PHP is not like this. It's called a loosely typed language, and so you can really do many things with your parameters. No, we said that you can come here, you define it number as 5, then you come here and you define the number as ciao, and then it doesn't stop you from doing this. It's its feature. Anyway, there is the possibility to give to give a type to the arguments that you want. That you want. I don't know really the name of this the name of how to say this. Anyway, in Italian is tipizzazione. I don't know. You can find it on a dictionary. The point is that now, if I come here and the second argument is hello, now it's not giving us an error, but um, if you come here, it gives an error, and it's quite simple to understand this error. It says uncaught type error sum argument 2 must be a type int. Cioè, it's really simple to understand. String given, both. You have found the mistake in 2 seconds. Without this, it will be a little more of a headache, because now let's do this. Now the error is this one. Of course, you can easily find the solution, but since it's unsupported operand types, blah blah blah, it becomes more complicated. Now we are just making the sum of 2 numbers, so of course you find the solution. But 2 more complex problems, maybe to have given these types to your arguments at the beginning of your code, can respawn new time later on. Okay? Other thing you can do is to give your arguments a default value. For example, now I'm saying that arguments 2 is 40. You can just write your arguments 2 as always, but you can even not. as you can see. Of course, you can even give a default value to this one. That's obvious, no? No problem. But you can even not. So and the the solution will remain the same. And voila, the solution is 45. Is 45. Okay. Return serves to the purpose of saving the result of our function into a variable that will be available to be used next in other pieces of code. So what I mean by this, for example, if now I same function here, I write return, and then let's for example we define to another variable, and then we define $sum, which is equal to sum, and here inside we place number 1, number 2. Okay, and the last, of course, let's place it here, echo $sum. Okay, the result it's 17, of course. Okay, so the result is 17, and let's use echo now. The result is the same. Let's remove this. And there is nothing. Okay, so what does this mean? Return returns the variable, and actually will be printed out on the screen by echo sum. And so now the variable is even available to be used for other things. We have really created a variable that has exited from the function. With the parameters, we work with the parameters and entering into the function. Now a parameter, an argument, variable has exited to the function. Echoing is more simple. In this case, you show the exact same thing because the result is the same. But actually, echoing is just printing on the screen sum, but is not saving it for further possibilities. Last thing to see is return type. We said that we can come here and give a type to our arguments, so that they are less likely to cause errors in the future. Same for result. You need to place a colon, and then you can place the type here. Okay. Of course, it can be of any kind. It can be a string, can be boolean, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And you can write the integer, and then everything works fine. In this case, it still works the same. 17. But as you see, this is the return type. So it's the type that is returned. Before with echo, actually, we don't return anything. We just print on the screen. In fact, here you can really see the difference between return and echo. I write here echo, and it's giving me an error here. It's giving me an error here because because as you see, return must be of type int, and none is returned. Same is if I write null. It's not that I'm returning a null value. It's the same. I'm not returning a value, and must be of type null, none is returned. The point is that I'm not returning anything, but I'm forcing something to be returned of this type int. If I don't return anything, it throws an error. And echo, as you can see, doesn't return anything, even though at the surface it seems that they are the same. They are indeed not. Return, in fact, if you will see, and you will see maybe in some other courses that I will do, or in more complex things, or in your practice, you will see that return is used to generate codes that does something with the function output, and then it elaborates it and make it for more complex things. Echo just prints it on the screen. That's it. That's it for this lesson. I already talked too much, but we have seen quite a lot of things. That was, of course, really important. We talked about every basic things of the function. Of course, there is something more to talk. Maybe you can do some researches. Keep following my videos, I hope. Thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.